Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Sports Zone. I am Muftau Nabila Abdullah. And when my daughter was counting me down, she tried singing the the sick tune for advantage. It's a pig. And as usual, she said to wait. I'm going 3, 2, wait. I'm like, Pamela, what is actually your problem? Pamela, how are you? Thank you. As I mentioned earlier, show proudly brought to you by Guinness. Yes, we can. And Piva water. A natural mineral water, which is refreshing and revitalizing. The game energy drink, feel the energy, and Kivu 4-in-1 Gary Soakins makes it made it possible for us to be here tonight to discuss every single thing that has happened within the game of football and beyond. And later, we'll bring you Guinness Match Day. Seated with me in studio tonight, I have to my far left is Sichofe, a gentleman who is always here with us. A pleasure to always have him. And tonight, we have a replacement for Daniel Cranton. Daniel Cranton, where is he in Po?
He is away on a sensitive diplomatic mission. He will return in a few weeks. So.
Sensitive diplomatic mission.
Yes.
So introduce yourself to your gentleman. How are you?
My name is Victor Achutamakula. I'm the gentleman who is here to replace Daniel Cranton until he returns from his diplomatic mission. We are assured of a successful outcome. That is how confident we are in Daniel Cranton's abilities.
Victor Achutamakula, V80. VAT. Oh, God. Hey. What's the percentage?
Charlie, I don't stress people for money. Unlike GRA.
Oh, God. Gentlemen, welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
Let's have some quick conversation, and we go to the camp of the Black Stars, right? Another opportunity has availed itself. World Cup qualifiers, Chad, coming up next on Thursday, before Mali on Monday. Just how crucial are these matches for the Black Stars? Let me start with you, Sijo.
It's a World Cup that is at stake. Automatic qualification comes from the team that finishes first on top of the group, and Ghana currently sits quite firmly in that position with some 3 points ahead of the second place team, Comoros. Ghana plays Chad coming Thursday. Yeah. While they do that, on the same day, Comoros, who are in second place, will play against Mali. That's true. So I think that those two fixtures
will play Central Africa.
Yeah, those two fixtures are crucial because then Chad has no points in the group. They've not beaten anybody. They keep chipping in goals. So they are the boogie side of the group. You're expecting Ghana to get the win against them. And while Ghana does that, they'll be hoping that between Comoros and then Mali, who the two countries who actually are challenging Ghana for the top spots, will drop points because whatever happens in that game, somebody has to lose or they can draw. So if
when
Mali,
they draw, that is a plus for Ghana.
If they draw, that's a plus, a big plus. However, it's Mali that is in third place. So even at the moment, Mali are looking like they are stronger than Comoros, and they could be the team that is going into the game favorites. Even if Mali wins against Chad, against Comoros, it could also in the end be a good result for Ghana if
Ghana is able to scare a win against Chad.
Against Chad, and again, because Ghana takes on Mali right
on
after
Monday,
that,
yeah.
on Monday here in Accra. So I think the fixture that has presented itself to the Black Stars and the timing of it makes it an advantage the Black Stars only if they can grab it. So I'm looking forward to what they can do against Chad to pick momentum into the game that is against Mali. But the Malian team that we beat earlier in Bamako is a very different one now because now they've changed their manager. They've played a lot better since that managerial change. Yes. So we should expect something different when Mali turn up here in Accra.
Achu, if you were Otoado, what sort of conversation would you be having with the team?
I think he doesn't really need to do too much in terms of lifting the mood and trying to motivate the players. A lot of them have started the season very well and come in feeling very confident, very well motivated. And the Black Stars will just be another assignment where they are looking to step in there, excel, and build on the credits that they've started the season with. Antoine Semenyo is one of the top scorers in the Premier League this season, scored double against the champions at Anfield, no less a grand. Mohamed Kudus, on his Premier League debut for Spurs, created 2 goals, was also very important for Tottenham Hotspur against Manchester City. We have seen quite a number of the boys also do well. Even for those who have not really had game time, their careers have taken them on a path that should give them a lot of optimism ahead of this. Tariq Lamptey is an example. He's found himself a new home at Fiorentina. Deal got concluded today. Sorting out his future and that sort of clarity that a move like that brings can be very helpful around this time. Ibrahim Suleimana, likewise. Earlier today, while we were on the transfer deadline show, I did mention that one of the people that I fear for was him, because his half Ghanaian brother, I use half advisedly, in Yunus Musa, was joining from AC Milan.
Yeah.
That definitely was going to mean his
threaten his place.
Game time significantly reduced. Already last season, he didn't play too many games. And so I'm very happy that Ibrahim Suleimana has also found himself a new home. What that means for Otuado is that basically everyone that he would want to count on is walking into the Black Stars camp either on form, but with a lot of clarity on where their future is and motivation to go and excel. For someone like Tariq Lamptey, if he gets to play against Chad, his club coach will be watching. They'll be paying attention to see
what he brings.
Apart from all the scouting reports and all the footage that they have seen, what is the current condition of Tariq Lamptey? Because he's not played a great deal. I mean,
in a long while. Actually.
Yes, it's been a while. And he hasn't been in the national team for about 10 months now.
Yeah.
So this is perhaps the first time in a long time that they are going to see him in competitive action. So for someone like Tariq Lamptey, he also walk in there with a point to prove, especially because Ali Disedu is not in the team. This is perhaps one of the few occasions where he walks into the Black Stars and he's nailed on to start at right back, right, without
any questions or reservations. Yeah,
exactly. So look, almost everyone that Otuado would look to count. Partey, for example, is another that I mentioned. There's a bit more clarity around his future now than the last time when he played for the Black Stars. At that time, no one really knew whether or not Arsenal were going to give him an extension, even with the court issues that he's dealing with. Now there's clarity. He knows when his court date is. I think it's tomorrow. Yeah. So at the end of it all, even for those who have issues to deal with, this is not one of those Black Stars camps that we have to worry about this player's head not being in the game, or just go there, do your job. And as Sicho has explained beautifully, if we get the 6 points over the 2 games, we could have one.
That basically gives us 21 points.
And we could have 1 foot on the American border. So this is, look, everything that is happening in the last 6 or 7 months, if you had asked any Ghanaian at the end of the AFCON qualifiers that would we be in this position, I think a lot of us would have said no, right? A lot of us would have said, we don't think the Black Stars are going to.
Because to play 6 matches without a single win.
We didn't get a win, but they've turned the corner. The confidence is, these days we are more relaxed about the Black Stars going into games. I think the players also know it. I think the energy of the country rubs off the players themselves, who put in the work, who were able to turn the corner off what was a disastrous campaign. And I think all of those combined should make the work simpler for Otuado. His job is to walk in there, set up the team in a manner that reflects the strengths of his best players, and as much as possible...
Do not press any other panic button again.
Exactly. I mean, now, look, this is not one of those situations where you have to go and convince Thomas Partey about the importance of this game. We need you urgently, yeah. Where he has some issues about confidence, yes, where he's not playing. That was last year, when the Black Stars looked lost in a lot of those games. Yeah. This is not one of those. This isn't. So for me, if there's any headache, it perhaps has to be over player selection, especially in attack, right? Where you've got Semenyo, you've got Iñaki, you've got Jordan. Mohamed Kudus.
Many coaches would love this.
Yeah. So it's a positive headache.
Yeah.
If it is a headache, it's a positive one to have. I mean, the other day someone was asking me whether you play Semenyo or Iñaki on the right. I said it's a beautiful problem to have, because you know that whoever starts is a very good option to have.
Should you subscribe to that?
No, you want as many quality and good players as possible, and players coming to your camp in form. You never really get to train a lot with the players as far as national team football is concerned. Also, especially if you're in an African space where most of your players are playing in Europe. So you even lose travel time. If England are assembling right after Sunday, they can be there Sunday night.
Yeah.
They can go with the local flights or take trains, and they'll be there Monday morning. They are all in camp. But as we speak, Otto doesn't even have the full complement of his squad.
4 players were available.
Absolutely. So that's the challenge. So we want to have as many quality and fit players as possible. So it's a good problem to have for the coach.
Yeah. He mentioned.
Though, one concern that I've always had, maybe it's an uneducated view, but I think for the games that we play away, we should start camping in where the matches will be played. There's no point losing a day of asking the players to come and report here, and then when you eventually leave, because we expect a full complement of the team tomorrow. Now, even with that, only about half of them will be able to train tomorrow, because the guys who fly in will not be in the condition to have proper training sessions.
That's in jet lag and all
So
those
essentially, you would have only Wednesday to train. The game is on Thursday, which means we're flying either tomorrow night or... So given the short period that you have to deal with all of those issues that I have read, I think it will be better that going forward, if we are playing away, let the team assemble where the match will take place. Because asking everyone to report to Ghana before they fly, I don't really see what purpose it serves. I mean, that's my uneducated view on that subject, because I feel you lose about 48 hours of asking the players to come. Meanwhile, if all of them fly to Chad, the game is in N'Djamena. If all of them report to N'Djamena, you know that even if you are only getting the full complement on Tuesday, that's still 2 days of uninterrupted training sessions before the match.
I actually agree, because what's the point of having some of the players come here, then you fly again, there's another jet lag and all, you go there, you have to do recovery training sessions and all that. I actually subscribe to that. But there's one point...
No, it's logistics. I don't think it's that simple. I don't think you're going to ask all those players individually to
so assuming we were to camp in Morocco for our away game, would it be easier flying to Morocco, or you think it is better coming to Ghana, get government to book a flight for you, direct flight for you to fly there, where you can easily fly the players to Morocco?
It's always better to gather the players and move all the players to the venue. It gives the FA needs to be in control, in charge of all of that. If all and again, the players, they are Ghanaians, so when they come home, they come home. It's easier to come here, they get to the camp, and then you're in charge of security, and you move them to another country. When the players are flying into another country where you are not in charge of security, it's difficult. What that means is you are going to arrange security details for over 23 players arriving perhaps at different times in a country that is not yours. Logistics and other details could go against you. It means the FA might even have to be there a week, perhaps even a month earlier, and arrange. Again, it's logistics. Okay, then another point is, what if the players have to arrive at an airport where the game is not even going to be played? So they arrive at an airport where the game is not going to be played, and then they have to sleep in one hotel before they all gather, and then you move them. The country that is hosting you is not also obliged to give you a training facility. So in Africa especially, it's difficult. It can't be straightforward. I think the surest way is to have control over the team in Ghana and then transport them. Of course, you lose a couple of days, but we've been doing this for so long. The coaches know this, so they have to also revise their recovery notes. They also have to revise their training notes. There is no way they train enough in any national team anywhere.
That's true.
So if you're a national team coach and these are your challenges, you can't use how the Europeans train to train your players here. You have to mitigate it. But I don't think security-wise it's easy for 22, 23 different players to be arriving at different times. And you not coming from that country, be there to arrange security details from them, from the airport to their hotels before you gather all of them. I can
understand that, but in as much as I would like to agree with you. Sometimes when we're going for, let's say, tournaments, right, and we have camping base, let's say the team is camping in Dubai, we often have players fly straight to go and join them in camp.
A few of them.
A few of them.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So you can arrange details for 2, 3, 4, 5 players. But I'm saying when, for instance, between Sunday night and maybe Tuesday night, there'll be 22 different players arriving at different times in camp. In a country you don't have any control over. You can do that for 4 or 5 players.
There can be a solution to that, because when it has to happen like that, you can have an advance party there. If it is security.
And Ghana has always had advance parties.
Yes, you can have an advance party there.
Making arrangements.
You can have the embassies or whatever it is in that country, whatever the nomenclature is, they can help in advising in terms of which facilities to train, right? The accommodation. More importantly, have a GFA team on the ground. The only negative, and my only fear, is the disconnects such an arrangement may create, because there is a certain value you cannot quantify.
Which is
the team
the connection it has with its roots before.
No, not that.
No, its roots and people
no,
before
not that.
it flies.
I'm saying when our players come down here, there is a certain value you cannot quantify. The connection with the people.
That's true.
Because the team belongs to the people. That bit is very important. That is my only fear. But if there is a way around it, I would love for us to have an advance party there that has full GFA contingent.
Do you recall the friendly matches Ghana played against Nigeria and Uganda in Morocco?
Yeah.
The team flew straight to Morocco. So if we can play friendly matches, well, maybe I can also understand the points that you was making, because it is sometimes you need to factor in all these things. They help you in your planning, actually. Yeah. So if there are going to be some security concerns, as you mentioned, you do not have control over that. You cannot tell whether...
See, the reason why I said, let me go into the details. When you play in Africa, it's actually, let me not say it's impossible in many, many countries to have direct flights to these countries. Ghana is a lucky place. So where most of the players play, they don't even have to transit or direct flights to come here. When you're asking these players to move into a place like Chad, then they'll have to lay over some of them have to lay over 22 hours before they get to Chad.
Yeah. Okay.
Some of them have to lay over 12 hours before they get it. So
that's true.
There are so many challenges in Africa, it's impossible for us to move our players, because somebody who have to be coming from Europe, the person has to go through Togo, and then transit there for 8 hours.
Someone might even have to go through Ethiopia. Then
or someone has to go through that. Meanwhile, the person can come straight home, and there's a chartered flight that takes them there. So I think it's impossible, honestly, on the African continent especially, to have all the players moving to these places because of the challenges.
The travel concerns in the continent are quite a challenge. And the Black Stars schedule, they had their first training session today. They will have another one tomorrow, and they will fly out to, is it in Janina, or is it in Jamina?
Jamina.
In Jamina for that game against Chad. So they are flying out Tuesday night. On Wednesday, they will hold a mandatory training session in Jamina before the match itself on Thursday. And it is going to kick off at 1 p.m. We'll have commentary of that game on Joy 99.7 FM. Victor Achutamakulo, VAT, is going to be your commentator. He's not going to be collecting money. He's going to be shouting on top of his voice. But now let's move on to the Super Cup. Let's touch it briefly. The new Ghana Premier League is upon us. Kotoko, Bibiani Gold Stars. The game took place at the Dance Park, where Kotoko won by 1-0. Let me just start with you, Achu. Based on what you saw in this game, what does it suggest to us heading into the new Premier League campaign?
That a lot of people read too much into Kotoko's performance at the top 4. I was just smiling at all the very reductive and dismissive takes people were having, that, yes, the performances were bad. Yes, they did not compete. Yes, you did not see the breath of fresh air that the 14 players they had signed were supposed to inject into the team. But I thought it was still too early for everyone to be saying that, oh, then they are in trouble. If this is what they are taking to Africa, look, the thing about what they did in the top four is that there was a lot of experimentation. Even in this game yesterday, there was still a lot of experimentation because when the season starts, I don't expect Hamzata to start. Musa Hamzata, the kid who scored the first goal, he was signed on Tuesday. I did not even expect him to play.
To play this game, yeah.
He was signed on Tuesday and then thrown into the deep and all of that. So when the season starts, I don't even expect him to start, but I think he will be a big part of Kotoko's season. Although I am still not sure what it is they want to do with the centre-backs, because now they have 6, right? Yeah. 6 centre-backs. Already you do know that between Hussein Zakari or Zakaria Husseini and then the captain Samba O'Neill, the two of them have got number 1 and number 2 centre-back starting positions on lock. But it is good that you have a player as young as him. Last season did very well. I think last season was his best of the 2 years that he's played at Accra Lions. Scored a couple of goals last season, played 22 games in the league, and generally gave a good sense of, or showed a good sense of appreciation of what a centre-back ought to have. He's one of the players that I liked of the many that they signed. I'm not still in favor of signing 14 players year in, year on. One of them, we even hear, his contract has been terminated even before he plays a competitive game. I think Johnson Opon.
The drama within the Kumasi media has been lessons around that deal.
So, but look, I felt it's important we tell Kotoko fans that, look, whatever you saw in the top 4 competition, it is good to be critical, yeah? But sometimes we're too dismissive of teams. The team will not become bad overnight. If this season doesn't work out, it will not be because you saw signs in the top 4. What I expect of Zito is that, look, there is too much talent in the Kotoko team to be playing the kind of football they were playing last year. And I'm prepared to die on this hill that the means do not always justify the process.
That's true.
And the end does not always justify the means. Because when I watch Kotoko play, there's too much quality in there for them to be playing the very reductive Roots 1 football that they played. And it was my pet peeve in the entire Galka top 4 that they kept rushing things. And there were games that I felt that if there is a clear path, if there is a well-choreographed attacking brand of football at stake that these players are used to, Kotoko definitely will play better. There is no guarantee that it takes you to winning the league, but over time, it serves you better. It makes you more competitive because then year on year, you are able to tell where each player is improving. You are able to tell which players then you need to move on, right? Because if you set targets for each player, and this is why I'm always in favor of that brand of football, because it gives clarity to a lot of things. If Kotoko play a bit more front foot football, if you hand the keys, because if you look through the team, we know who the best players are, and we know who they are supposed to be in competition with, right? Even in this period that a lot of people criticized the left back and felt that he was not playing to a certain standard, it is by his own standards that they were judging him. I think the potential in the Kotoko team, if you set the team right and get them to play, I don't think Albetamo has become bad overnight. I don't think Kwame Opoku has become overnight. Just work with the same core that you have. So the issue for me is not even the fact that they signed too many players. I'm not in agreement of it. It's just the approach and the way Zito has set this team up. It is too results first. It is, which is good. It works for him. And people will be quick to point you to... It is
the result that keeps you in the job.
People will be quick to point you to the titles that he has won. I'm just saying you can get more out of this team than the brand of football that they have shown.
They should excite you and lose.
That's not what I I'm just saying that this team is
you want to afford to go and take a newspaper
I'm just saying,
and go like,
no. So, I'm just saying that this team is capable of playing better. I think they have more in them than we have seen. Look, when Emmanuel Entry made the Black Star squad, there were not many people who looked at him and said he's not worth being in a national pool.
That's true.
Right.
That's very true.
When I watch Albert Amwa, he's not a striker that I think is finished because he didn't score a goal in the top 4, or Kwame Opoku, or any of the options that they have got, even for Zakaria Fusini. There's a reason even his critics are not pointing to that mistake against Bebieni, against Hartevok, to say that why is he in the team? I think the potential in the team is there. I think with patience, but the coaching has to be right. Look, you can win the odd top 4. You can win the odd FA Cup. But I guarantee you that if they are going by this pattern, within 2 years, you would have to change your manager because of the short-termism. The coaches are always thinking about the league or the next trophy.
They say Kotoko is a winning club, and you must always win.
Yeah, but you see, even the people who win eventually have to leave, are forced out because their style of winning
create
is
a winning mentality for the club and walk away. When you walk away, history will judge you as a man who came
We hear you.
won. So, Sicho, you want to touch on that briefly, then we'll take a quick break?
Yeah, I think that the top 4 performances were performances that the fans were right to be concerned about. They were poor. They were not great. Yeah, of course, they've gone on to do...
But many people question the attitude of the players.
No, yeah, it looked like they just stand up. They were not
players.
interested in it. It didn't look like... it was a terrible performance across board for the team. So, yeah, I can understand why the fans were agitated because this is a club going into Africa. The league is about to start. You want to see a bit more fire about your team. And that competition was a very good platform for Zito to test a lot of things.
Actually.
Again, to Kotoko fans, if they're expecting to see pretty football throughout the season, it is not under Zito. That's not his style. Zito is a result-oriented coach. He will play the way that gets in the results. Every single game is like a cup final for him. So every single game, he's coming in there to just get the result out of the game. If he's going away from home to a territory where everybody knows it's difficult for him to get the 3 points, he's not conceding, and maybe he's not scoring. In the end, he's not losing. So Kotoko now have to accept the kind of manager they've got, because when you've watched Karim Zito's team play, he hasn't been the kind of football that you expect, to be honest. He's not going to give them that. and so when you know the man you've appointed, you have to make peace. And that helps in expectation. Listen,
Yeah, it does.
It does. You're not going to move from Ogum to Zito and expect to play like you were playing 3 years ago. 2 different coaches, 2 different philosophies. Do they all win? Yes, they all win. But you have to understand how your current coach wins. It won't be pretty, but you probably will get a job done.
Just like the last time I heard Marcus Rashford talk about Jose Mourinho, he said he has never come across a manager who is so fixated with winning. And guess what? When you win, he forgets about the mistakes you made. But when you don't win, he will point them out. So that's the kind of manager Karim Zito is. He walks into the dressing room wanting to walk away with victory. Losing is not part of his books. That's why he's won so many trophies. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we still have got a lot more to discuss here. It is the transfer deadline day, moves that have been made. The most exciting one for you, please share that with us. And also, the one you think is quite weird and bizarre. And then we'll also be taking you to England. That inch-perfect strike from Szoboszlai. A team that has scored so many goals in set pieces conceded via a set piece. We are back in a jiffy.
I feel amazing. It's been a long journey to get here. I'm super happy to be a part of this team, this club, and everything it stands for. I want to create history. I want to win trophies. This is a perfect place for me. I always want to give as much as possible to the team. I'm delighted to have this chance and to get this number. Hopefully, we can share some amazing moments together.
With £125 million spent, Liverpool finally have their man. A man they had submitted about £110 million for his services. We got knocked back by Newcastle United. And guess what? He decided to hold the club. I don't know if I using the ransom is the right word. But since then, yeah, he actually decided not to be a part of Newcastle United. Went as far as releasing a statement claiming that there was a breach in agreement or trust between him and the club. The club knocked back with another statement saying that at no point did anyone promise him that you're going to leave this summer. But guess what? Finally, he has the final say and leaves Newcastle United for a British transfer record fee of £125 million. Liverpool have now spent about £400 million this season. Wow. Over, actually.
Yeah.
I never saw this happening. Sicho, in fact, many Liverpool fans actually at a point were accusing Manchester City of buying the Premier League title because they were spending so much to sign players. At this point, it is Liverpool who is spending so much to sign players. But even before we talk about that, what does Isak bring to this Liverpool team that Liverpool finally had to pump that kind of money to secure his services? Let's not forget, this transfer window alone, they've broken the British transfer record fee twice.
Yeah. I think Isak is an incredible footballer, one of the best strikers across Europe now, as we speak it. I mean, one of the best in the Premier League as well. And what he brings to Liverpool is the spread of goals across that front line. So Liverpool have been very heavily dependent on Mohamed Salah. Yeah. And so now that Isak is here, you've got Salah to think about, you've got Isak to think about. Cody Gakpo can as well chip in a fair few goals, and Ekitike has shown that he can find the back of the net. Let's not forget, Liverpool will be missing Mohamed Salah at some point in the season because he'll be with the Pharaohs for the AFCON. Yeah. So what Liverpool have done is also bring in a player who will be a guaranteed source of goals if everything goes according to plan for the foreseeable future. Because Salah is past 30, he's extending his contract by 2 years. He probably could still leave Liverpool at the end of this season. And so what Liverpool are doing is bringing a player who's good enough for now, but a player as well who can take them a lot more of years to come. So I think it's smart business, it's good business. He guarantees and assures them of goals. Against top teams, he guarantees you goals. He is a proper striker. It's not all about the goals for him as well. The ball at his feet is an incredible footballer.
What level does he take Liverpool to?
Well, difficult to tell because Liverpool are already very much high up there. They are Premier League champions, let's not forget. Yes, they didn't make it all the way into the Champions League final, but the team that knocked them out were the eventual champions. Yes. So they'll, in the end, look back and think, even in that game, they were fine margins. But these are the margins that maybe Isak gets them over. Because when you've got, and I mentioned, in those games as well, we didn't see enough from Mohamed Salah. Yeah. But I'm not too sure we're going to go into games where we have both Isak and Salah quiet. When Salah is quiet, Isak could be the one to drag Liverpool along. And when Isak is not having that day, there could be Mohamed Salah. All of a sudden, when teams play against Liverpool, they've got two very different footballers, high quality, devastating in front of the post or in the box to deal with. So yeah, Liverpool have got a weapon on their hand.
And Achu, I think I should ask this question because why was Liverpool not signing players for Jurgen Klopp? Or were they not spending so much for Jurgen Klopp?
I think it's unfair on the ownership to say they were not signing players for him. They broke their transfer record for Jurgen Klopp. They spent the most up until Kepa that any Premier League club had spent on a goalkeeper for Jurgen Klopp. They gave him the forward who is perhaps going to finish his career as the best forward the Premier League has seen playing from wide areas, purely in terms of his numbers, if you look at it that way. Mohamed Salah. So there is very little evidence of, in fact, even for players that under normal circumstances, other clubs would not have paid the sort of money Liverpool paid for in Darwin Núñez. They did all of that for Jurgen Klopp. My suspicion is that at a point, they perhaps were not in the position to go over the top. And let's face it, Liverpool are not this economic behemoth that Manchester United were, or what Manchester City became in the period that they were winning a lot of Premier League titles. Or even Chelsea under Roman Abramovich. That has never been Liverpool, right? Even under previous ownership, when they were doing well, Liverpool has never been the club that has, I don't remember in the last 20, 25 years, that Liverpool was the team that was outspending or matching its rivals in terms of how much they were spending, right? So, yes, they had the means to do it, and when they felt that a transfer represented value for money, they went out and they did. I've just given you examples of players that they did, and there are those like Sicho who would even believe that Klopp.
Sadio Mane, I recall the signing of Sadio Mane from Was it
Southampton.
Southampton.
Yeah. There was also the signing of this Brazilian.
Felipe Coutinho.
Coutinho.
And look, for me, I always
So-
I always say that the value actually lies in the value the player gives you, and not necessarily how much the club is paying. So I'm not bothered if the club is not spending so much. I am bothered if the club is not spending on anyone at all, right? And Liverpool have shown under the Fenway Sports Group, FSG, that when they decide to make a signing, 7 out of 10 times they get it right. So while people applaud Chelsea for a lot of the sales they make, they get into the position where they have to make the sales because they perhaps misjudge and overvalue the player to the point where within a year or two, especially in the case of Joao Felix, within 6 months of signing, they realized they had made a mistake and needed to sell the player. Not having to make sales is in itself a credit if the players are doing well. And I think even this summer, look, they have made more sales probably than Chelsea. It has gone under the radar, but if you look at the players that Liverpool have signed, you combine the combined value of their sales,
it's actually
it's
massive.
pushing £240 million.
Yeah.
So they moved on Darwin Núñez for a lot of money.
I think Chelsea have made more sales. Chelsea, I think the last thing I saw was around 300.
300.
But you can understand why Chelsea's numbers
Yes,
are
but even for Liverpool, it's just a handful of players. It's about 7 or 8 players that they have moved on, and they have made crazy money for those players. And so, look, I think that you can only applaud Fenway Sports Group for the way they've handled Liverpool's business. Their rivals will be a bit envious. And here's the thing. You can't necessarily hold FSG responsible for what the fans of the club say or for what a former employee said. Jurgen Klopp was wrong to be saying all of the nonsense he said about
In fact, there was this impression that was created that Jurgen Klopp was not getting the right support to sign the players and all that.
It was all nonsense. I always said that at every point in time, Jurgen Klopp had the squad to go out and compete. The exceptions will be the first 2 years. But after he proved he can get value out of that, we saw how Liverpool responded with the players they were signing for him. They broke the goalkeeper transfer record at Liverpool in bringing Alisson. Yeah. They broke the Premier League record for defenders in signing Virgil van Dijk for him. They retained Mohamed Salah and gave him the biggest contract in the Premier League at that time. I think the only exception would have been what Kevin De Bruyne was on at Manchester City. And City, for all intents and purposes, were outliers. The contracts that City were giving their players, it would have been, excuse my language, but it would have been stupid for anyone to think that it would make sense, either sporting or economic sense, for Liverpool to try to match that sort of contract. It was the equivalent of the expectation that Arsenal fans were having at a point, that Arsenal would offer the same contract that Manchester United and Chelsea were doing. There are certain things that you can compete on the pitch, but there are certain things that if you try to match up, you are signing the death warrants of your own club.
Of your club.
Yeah, because look, there are some things that are simply not attainable. You can't keep up. And Liverpool have managed the club in the manner that they deem best fits. More importantly, they are doing all of these additions before they stop being competitive. So they are strengthening from a position, not from a position of weakness. They are rebuilding the squad from a position of strength. Look, I think this Isak signing is essentially the Mohamed Salah replacement. Because of Isak, they can sign a winger who may not be giving them 30 goals a season like Mohamed Salah, but because of the combined effect of Ekitike and then Isak, they can rest easy. It is also one signing that takes a bit of pressure off Florian Wirtz.
Yeah, that's true.
Florian Wirtz no longer needs to score double digits in terms of goals.
Because of the price tag that had been placed on him.
His job is simply to create. His job will be simply to create.
Yeah.
And already, Ekitike's goals in the first few games have been the reason the narrative is not only on Florian Wirtz because he hasn't scored.
That's true.
Right.
Let me take the thoughts of Sicho on this one. Sicho, there's this school of thought that Arne Slot has earned the check that has been handed to him by the leadership of Liverpool. He walked in, won the Premier League title. People say, and in fact, you were one of those who actually criticized Jurgen Klopp because you thought he didn't win enough to actually merit the demands many Liverpool fans actually thought that he should have been handed that check to do business?
No, my problem, not a problem, my opinion on Klopp was that he had a Liverpool team good enough to win more than he won. Of course, City spent more money, but his teams, most of the time, that he finished second place, looked for me good enough to win more than he had won. And I think he didn't also prioritize some of the cup competition, the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup competition. He at some point spoke down on those competitions and later realized that was a good avenue to also win laurels. So yeah, that was my issue with Jurgen Klopp. But what Arne Slot did last season was immense because he came into the club, virtually used the same team that Liverpool failed to win with the season before he came in and turned them into champions. One of the key things that everybody spoke about that was that Liverpool desperately needed a DM. They went following Lavia, didn't happen. Caicedo didn't happen. They brought in Endo. Endo played a lot of minutes under Jurgen Klopp. Slot walks in and says, well, Endo is there, but I will trust Ryan Gravenberch to do a job for me in the middle of the park and redesign that midfield, and it worked massively for him. So I give him a lot of credit because when a manager comes into a club, for a team that didn't win anything the season before, okay, they won the Carabao Cup in that season, but they didn't win the league the season before, doesn't change any plan, goes to win a title with them. He deserves massive commendation. But then around the time that he is coming through in his second season, Liverpool are also just changing things a little bit. So they've let some of the players leave the club. Luis Diaz has left the club. Javier Elliott has left the club. A couple of players are leaving the club. But they are backing him with a lot of money. I think that the money they are using to back him is not necessarily a Slot backing. Yes, he's the coach, so he's backing him. But Liverpool are building a team good enough for any manager who walks into the club. So if Slot is not getting the job done, and Liverpool says, thank you very much, you won the league last season, bye-bye. The next manager who comes has Isak, he has Ekitike, he has Gakpo, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai. He's got a lot of talents to work with, Florian Wirtz to work with, and that's what Liverpool are doing. So they have a good manager they trust can use the players, but even if this manager doesn't work, the players available is not a Slot player, or the player is not a player who fits the Slot system. It's just a talented footballer who can play well under any serious manager. So
you don't subscribe to the position that Liverpool did not back Jurgen Klopp enough?
No, I don't subscribe to that. I think they backed Jurgen Klopp to the best of their abilities. So now let me explain this. Liverpool have gone through phases, and at every phase, or in every phase that you find yourself, you have a limit. At the moment, for example, let me use the example now. Nobody can tell me Man United have not backed Amorim. They have, to the best of their abilities, because they've not been successful for a very long time. And when you don't win a lot of things for a very long time, it has an effect on how much money you can spend because revenues will drop. Some of the money you have to take from your commercial partners will even drop based on performances. Yeah. But Man United have gone into the market to buy a couple of players from Šeško, Cunha, and Belmo. They are not cheap. They bought him a goalkeeper now. That is backing. Is it enough? No. Because he probably would have wanted Baliba for 100 million. But can they afford it now? No. So when Jurgen Klopp came into the club, Liverpool had not won titles then. So Liverpool had to sell some players to buy players. So then they sold Felipe Coutinho to reinvest. But while he came, after the first 2.5 seasons for Jurgen Klopp, Liverpool became a very competitive team. They won the Champions League. They competed and finished very high in the Premier League. They started making a lot of money. They reinvested a lot of those monies into players like Virgil van Dijk, the Naby Keita, and more recently, Konate, Szoboszlai, Luis Diaz came through. Cody Gakpo wasn't cheap. Darwin Núñez wasn't cheap. So it's been phases. When he came into the club through the door, Liverpool couldn't have spent the money they spent in his third year. But the good thing now for Arne Slot is because Klopp had chucked a certain level of success and Liverpool had managed the club very well, they were in a good position to spend some money now in this season. Because let's not forget, in last summer, Liverpool didn't spend any money on any player, really. Yeah. The only player they brought in, I thought, was Chiesa. And that was for even less than 15 million euros from last season. So Liverpool still had some room to spend. And their financial position as far as the FFP and PSR are concerned were solid. They didn't run out losses, they made profits. So now that the financial year is done, Liverpool had the ability or the capacity, that's the word I was looking for, the capacity to spend a lot more money, and that's what they've done, to build a squad good enough to last them maybe into the next 3 years, into the next 4 years.
Let me take some quick messages, and this one says that Good evening. Well, I would like your thoughts on who you think will be our star player for the international break. Kudu Semenyo or who? This is from JD in Tetegu. This one also says, good evening, Sports Zone. Last night was third world level publicity for La Liga. From a poor pitch, shambolic defending, and VAR not working. Very shameful. Nicola Jackson.
That pitch that I saw. Have you seen the images of the Hasselhoff training pitch?
I saw it, and someone said, if this had happened in Ghana.
I was shocked.
Said,
but the Hasselhoff training pitch is better than that one.
So this one says that, this one from Pa in Awoshi, he said that Nicolas Jackson is a man of this transfer window. He racked up a whooping 40 million loan fee. Then he gave us, here we go, here we come, and here we go again. Pa, that's quite an interesting one from you. This one was a hello guys, good evening. Please ask Danike what did Man United win last weekend, because this celebration is serious. Danike is not here tonight. He has a replacement in Victor Achitamaklo. Good evening, Muftao. Please, I want to know the time for the Democracy Cup on Friday and the Black Stars match. I want to know the price of the tickets as well. Thank you. I'll text that to you after the game. And good evening, Sicho. He said you are Mbomo's brother. He says that you are such a hard guy. You have been talking sports from morning, and that you are still talking sport. I love your passion for the game. I'll keep watching you. You have my support. This one is from.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
This is from Prosper. He says,
Thank
"Hello,
you,
it's my brother Achi." Okay, I don't know whether your mama or papa born her. Prosper. Prosper.
The only Prosper who calls me brother is GS, the General Secretary.
The General Secretary of the Ghana. So Prosper, your General Secretary, now your brother with that?
We have a relationship beyond this job. So Prosper is very good friends with my elder brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
No wonder he gave you that interview.
yeah.
This also say, good evening, guys. I'm authentic, watching you live from Asante Akim Agogo. Please, any update on Maguire to Liverpool? Since that deal is off.
No, that deal is off. It didn't happen.
It's off the table.
It's the one deal where I think Liverpool dropped the ball. They have known all summer that they wanted him. They have known all summer that Palace are open to the idea of moving on. In fact, after the Community Shield, Steve Parish, the chairman of Crystal Palace, said that it would be a shame for them to lose such a player for free. He was essentially inviting teams to come and bid. When you have that background in mind, and you think that Liverpool, throughout this period, only reached an agreement with Crystal Palace on deadline day, come on, they have to do better.
And knowing that they needed to get a replacement before they can move him on.
And that's where I don't blame Palace too much, because Palace only needed to find a replacement for Guehi after reaching an agreement with Liverpool.
But January
If they don't have,
they come.
You said?
January window they come.
No, but in January, Palace would not be in a position of strength. They'll be negotiating, unless, of course, between now and January, they can get Maguire to sign a year's extension or some extension. That strengthens their position. That means that they can still demand a hefty transfer fee. Look, the 35 million that they agree with Liverpool in January, Liverpool would not be happy, and they would not be willing to commit as much. Maybe some 5 million or 6 million solidarity payments is what Palace can expect. So Liverpool can only have themselves to blame. I mean, they had the whole of summer, and it's not as if there was any competition for his signature. From everything we have read from the people closer to the deal, Maguire only wanted Liverpool. Liverpool only wanted Maguire. So when there is a shared interest like that, like everyone wanted the deal to happen.
This is a deal they should have.
I think they should have gotten it.
Be able to fix. And just by way of update, Alexis Sanchez is back to La Liga.
Sevilla is they are getting relegated because the kid they moved on, the Lukebakio kid, really good player.
Yeah, Ben Chilwell too has moved to Strasbourg, and as we mentioned, Nicolas Jackson to Bayern Munich. Zinchenko He's also moved to Nottingham Forest. And Bertrand Traore, he's moved to Sunderland.
From Ajax.
Yes, from Ajax. Yes, to Sunderland. Yeah. So these are just some small than deals. There's this young man,
before you go on,
a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
He's moved from Royal Antwerp to Manchester United.
Before you go on, there is a deal that looks very suspicious to me. I made a video about it this evening. The Ben Chilwell situation to Strasbourg. They say it's a permanent deal.
Yeah. For an undisclosed fee.
Ben Chilwell is on £200,000 a week contracts at Chelsea.
Yeah.
For 2 years, Chelsea have tried to move him on. And no one has been prepared to pay £200,000 for Ben Chilwell, even the rich Premier League clubs, because the player also doesn't want to take a pay cut. Even when he went on loan to Crystal Palace, Chelsea had to pay the chunk of the salary. Yet Strasbourg in France, who don't have a lot of money, are able to afford him. Now, the highest earner on Strasbourg's books is Sekou Mara. Sekou Mara is a forward who earns less than 30,000 euros. I think the actual fee is 29,880 euros. How does a club with such finances all of a sudden be able to afford someone who even Premier League clubs?
Maybe he would have. Maybe he decided to. Maybe Chelsea would have given him a package.
Maybe he even decided to take a pay cut.
Yeah. So once he signed for the club, I think that there will be a financial engineering. Of course, we know the connection between Chelsea and Strasbourg.
That's it.
But the financials.
That's the way.
So you actually wanted that connection between Strasbourg.
Yeah, but the financials will be clear on paper anyway. So it's either the player's taking a pay cut or Chelsea are going to pay him off some wages.
My suspicion is that someone is paying him off the books.
I want you guys to take a look at how Newcastle announced the departure of Isak. 37 words per. 37 words per. Newcastle United can announce the sale of striker Alexander Isak to Liverpool for a significant British record transfer fee. The Sweden international joined the Magpies from Real Sociedad in 2022 and made 109 appearances in all competitions.
There's a lot of bitterness behind that statement. The first thing you notice is that in typical English football club communication, the diction, you won't see them use words like sell. It is the media that will report sell. The clubs will say, we have completed the transfer of.
Or reach an agreement for the transfer of the player.
Yes. When they use sell, words like sale, clearly,
people like it pain them.
They are not interested in being. There's no interest in being.
They didn't even wish him well.
No, there is no interest in being because of the manner in which this has happened, right? At no points were they interested in selling.
This one did. The relationship is gone beyond repairs. The relationship is gone beyond.
Oh, Isak wouldn't care.
No, but he doesn't care. He wanted it, and he has got it.
In the end, it is what it is. I mean, football clubs, they are like women.
No.
They don't like nice guys.
No, let me use the word of Sicho. Sicho said, football.
There's no loyalty.
There's no emotions when it comes to football.
There's not. Maguire played nice.
When you mess up, they will move you on. So if you got an opportunity to move,
if you look at this window, all of the guys who went to war with their clubs, all of the guys who went on strike from
that Brentford boy,
John Weiser, also went on strike.
No, I mean, Liverpool,
they got their deals.
Newcastle fans are not happy with Isak, so when it comes to St. James's, they will boo him. But when Weiser scores, they will celebrate that. But
isn't it funny?
Everything Isak did.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
But the player who stayed professional didn't complain. He played it. He didn't get his move. Maguire. Because the club that wanted him didn't move fast enough.
Yeah. We are taking a quick break. We come back. We take you to England, bring you highlights of some of the matches that were played, including that sumptuous strike. In fact, I wish we could speak a bit about Arsenal and Chelsea and Man City struggling and the deals they've all done. But due to a bit of time constraints, I want us to get straight to Guinea's match day when we come back from this break. That is how we are wrapping up Sports Zone here tonight. I am Muftau Nabila Abla Shopado, brought to you by Kivo 4-in-1 Gary Soakins. Makes a Gary Soakins easy. Guinness, Ghana, yes, we can. And Guinness is the reason why we have this behind us. They are proud sponsors of the Guinness Match Day. And Piva Water, pure refreshing and revitalizing. The game energy, feel the energy. I continue to enjoy the rest of our programs here on the Joy Prime channel. And it is also an international break. And we'll be ushering you into the World Cup qualifiers, where Ghana is in action this Thursday and next week, Monday. Enjoy the rest of the week. It's going to be a very long week, but you have to enjoy it. Thank you very much for your company.